All right, so welcome everybody to a brand new video for class 7th Nutrition in Animals. This video is basically the part second of my last video, which was on nutrition in human beings. In that video, we talked about how the food that we are eating, human beings are eating, is broken down into smaller pieces, and then how our body is finally utilizing that food, absorbing that food for so many functions like body repair, other things, to get energy also, right? So in this class we'll be talking about how the same thing happens in animals. All right, so let's start our class. So let's discuss so far what we learned, right? So we know that what is the process of ingestion, we know what is digestion, assimilation, absorption, excretion. So still I'll just throw a light upon these few topics. Ingestion is basically the intake of food, right? It starts from the buccal cavity. We take the food, starch basically, it is then broken down into sugar. Then the process of digestion, we already know in the chapter we studied about digestion that it is basically nothing but the complex food material is broken down into smaller ones with the help of enzymes, right? After that, the food is absorbed by our body, basically by villi, which are present in the small intestine. And what are villi? You can comment down. Villi are what? They are finger-like projections in our small intestine, which helps in absorption of the food, right? The absorption of the digested food, basically. Exactly. So after that, we have the final process, which is excretion, or we can say egestion, wherein the undigested food from our body is expelled out. All right. So till this point, I have discussed these things in my previous video. If you have a little bit of doubt in these four five terms, you can go back, you can watch the previous video, and then we can come to this topic, the fresh topic, right? Human versus other animals. Now, with this topic, I really want to start my class with a very basic question: that do you think that there is a difference between the digestion in human beings and other animals, other organisms also? Like humans, we already know there is digestion, there is ingestion, there is digestion, assimilation, and absorption. So, what do you think? The digestion is similar in all the animals, or do you think that there is a little bit difference? Please comment down your views and tell me. All right. So, okay, tell me, have you ever seen a cow or horse eating? Yes, everybody saw that, right? So, what have you noticed in that? Tell me. I guess we all notice that the cows, then horse, they are always eating, right? They're always chewing something, isn't it? Right. So when I was a kid, I used to find this very fascinating. And then I got to know it is because of the special kind of digestion process in them. We are going to talk about this, so don't worry. Let's get started. So the first topic for today's class is digestion in ruminants. Like I said, ruminants are the animals, some special animals who eat grass. For example, cow, deer, horse, rabbit, and so many other animals, right? They eat grass. So that's why we call them ruminants, because they have a special system in their body, a special organ in their body to digest that grass. All right. So let's first watch one video here to understand the digestion in ruminants in detail. Okay.
Animals have a special. Unlike humans, all grass-eating animals have a special stomach with 4 chambers, namely rumen, reticulum, omasum, and abomasum. Let's see the process of digestion in grass-eating animals. The animals quickly swallow the grass and store it in rumen, the first chamber of the stomach. In the rumen, the food gets partially digested. The partially digested food is called cud. The cud is pushed into the reticulum, the second chamber of the stomach, and from here it is sent back into the mouth for thorough chewing. The process of chewing the cud is called rumination, and animals which chew the cud are called ruminants. The rechewed food is swallowed and sent into the omasum, the third and the smallest chamber of the stomach, to absorb excess water from the food. In the omasum, the food is broken down to even smaller pieces. This is then sent to the last chamber, abomasum, which is also called the true stomach. The digested food then goes into the small intestine, where absorption of nutrients takes place. A large sac-like structure called cecum, present between the small intestine and large intestine, also contain bacteria that help in the digestion of cellulose, a carbohydrate that is present in grass. So, you now know why cattle keep chewing all the time.
Right? So now we know why cattle keeps chewing all the time, because in their body they have like, let's go back to the image. Yes, so they have reticulum in their digestive system, omasum, abomasum, small intestine, rumen, cecum, and large intestine. So right, so the food is stored in the rumen, temporarily stored in the rumen, because they have a special structure called rumen in them. That's why these animals are called ruminants, right? So I want you to tell me, what is the abomasum also called? Okay, what is the other name for abomasum? All right, you can comment down your answers and let me know. So
Unlike humans,
yes, let's move ahead to our digestion in ruminants in detail and let us understand this. So grass-eating animals like buffaloes and cows, they are called ruminants. Because they have a separate part in their stomach, we call it rumen. I already explained this part, right? So they quickly swallow the grass and it is stored temporarily in their rumen, where it is partially digested. All right. So where it is partially digested, we call it the cud. Okay. So we call it the cud. These are some really important terms for us to understand. The rumination process, by which cud returns back to the mouth in small lumps, and then the animals chew it. Because of this particular process of rumination, these animals, the ruminants, keep chewing all the time, because small part of the cud comes back from their stomach to the mouth, and they again chew it in small lumps, right? So grass contains cellulose, which is digested by a special bacteria, which is present in a sac-like structure located between their small intestine and the large intestine. So please tell me, what is the name of that special structure? Right? Cecum, exactly. So the special bacteria is present in the cecum of ruminants. So this was about digestion in ruminants. Now the second part of this video is about digestion in amoeba. Now what exactly is an amoeba? It's a small microscopic organism, right? Often we call it amoeboid also. It's a type of cell and it's unicellular organism. What are unicellular organisms? These are the organisms which has only one cell in them, only single cell. And that single cell is very much capable of performing all the body functions. So let's imagine this is one cell. It has a nucleus here, and this cell is fully capable of doing all the activities. For example, digestion, respiration, excretion, other things, whatever comes to your mind, whatever you think is important for a living being. Let's say living being ke liye kya important hai? We know movement is there. So for movement, again, these cells, this particular single cell has things which helps in the movement also. Then breathing, respiration, other things. Again, this cell is fully capable of that. So isn't it amazing and really fascinating? Exactly. So now we'll talk about amoeba in detail. So let's go ahead. And before we talk about nutrition in amoeba and digestion in amoeba in detail, let us again watch a very fun video, okay, to understand this better.
Nutrition in amoeba. The food and its way of obtain different from organism to organism. Example, amoeba takes food using fungus-like extensions of cell surface called as pseudopodia. They fuse over the food particle by forming a food vacuole. Inside amoeba, that food vacuole's complex substances are broken down into simple substances. Then, these simple substances diffuses into cytoplasm. The remaining undigested material is moved to the surface of cell and thrown outside.
Right. So tell me, how was the video and what you have understood from the video? We saw that, let's see this in detail. We saw that, amoeba is there in the water or, in a surface. It looks like something like this, right? It has this body. We have a nucleus in the middle. Then we have these, sides. We call them pseudopodia. And why? Pseudopodia, what is the function of this particular thing? It helps in movement, right? It helps in the movement of amoeba. All right. Then suppose we have a food particle in front of amoeba. Okay, this is, imagine a food particle. So the pseudopodia will move around the food particle slowly, and then it will engulf the particle. It will take the particle inside. A food vacuole will be formed. Some enzymes will act upon it and break down the food and utilize the food. Okay. And after utilizing the food, we know what we do with the undigested food and the food which is not required by the body. We throw it away, right? Excretion. So the unused food is expelled out of the body again by the same process. जिससे उसने food लिया था, same way it will expel the food which is not used by the body through pseudopodia only. All right. So now in amoeba, we know that it's a single-celled organism. It's also microscopic in nature, and we found amoeba in pond waters, right? So amoeba keeps in changing its shape regularly. Why? Because for movement, it uses pseudopodia, right? So it keeps on changing its shape to get food, to remove the food from its body. So let's try to understand the process of digestion in amoeba through a flow chart. Okay. So first, there is a food in amoeba's vicinity, near amoeba. So the amoeba captures the food particles with the help of the false feet, the pseudopodia. Okay. And why am I calling it a false feet? Because this is really not feet. This is not really legs. So because they help in movement and ऐसी चीजें जो हम अपने पैरों से करते हैं, it helps in that. That's why we call them false feet. All right. False means fake, not true. So these are false feet. Okay. So with the help of false feet, the food particle is taken inside the body. So we call the process as phagocytosis. Then a food vacuole is created. Digestive juices are produced by the body and food is broken down into simpler substances. Then the digested food is absorbed in the body and the food vacuole is open to the outside and the undigested food is released in the surrounding water, right? This is the full process, and I want you to take 1 minute to 1 or few minutes to understand the process. Try to read the steps that are there on my screen. Okay. So we have first the phagocytosis one, phagocytosis, wherein the food is taken inside the body. Then the digestive juices act upon it, basically the breakdown part. After that, the digested food is absorbed by the body. Absorption is going on. And the last thing is that the undigested food is released back in the surrounding water. We can say this is something similar to excretion, right? Excretion of human beings. Am I right till this point? All right. So now we know that how the process of digestion is going on in an amoeba and how the digestion is going on in ruminants also. So we can say from this class, what is our takeaway? We talked about few terms which were new to us, like what is rumen? Tell me in the comments, what do you mean by rumen? I'll give you the definition. Rumen is basically an organ, a specialized structure present in the ruminants, which helps in temporary storing the food, right? Temporary storage of the cud. Now, what is the cud? It is the undigested food. Am I right? Exactly. Now, what is rumination? Rumination is the process by which the undigested food, that is the cud, is taken back again to the mouth of ruminants and then chewed again and again for fully digestion. Okay. Then we talked about pseudopodia. These are the false feet which are present in amoeba, right? Which helps in movement of amoeba, taking in food, making the food, expelling the food. So these help. So pseudopodia help in these processes. Then we have the digestion. Digestion is again one term which we are very much familiar with. In this chapter of digestion and animals, we talked about the definition of digestion in detail. In my previous video, I explained digestion in human beings. In this video, we talked about digestion in ruminants and digestion in amoeba. So I hope till this point, everything is clear. And if you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comments. You can ask me, all right? So let's see how much I have learned from the class. So I have some small words, small definitions, which I want you to give the answer. Amoeba is a microscopic dash organism found in pond water. So can you tell me what kind of animal amoeba is? What kind of organism it is? Yes, it's a unicellular organism, right? Then the fecal matter is removed through the anus from time to time, and this process is called excretion. Next is some example of ruminants, which includes cow, horse, deer, rabbits, right? Buffaloes, all right? And last one is the partially digested food in the rumen of animals is called the gut, all right? So as an additional task, what you can do, you can find out about rumen, cud, and draw a label diagram of amoeba. So this is it for today's video, for today's class. And thank you so much everyone for watching my video, and happy learning. Okay, thank you.